फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग क्लास 1 टू क्लास 6 तक तो आई वॉज जस्ट एवरेज स्टूडेंट। जाके बदमाशी करता था, हमेशा क्लास से बाहर रहता था, हमेशा लेट जाता था। एंड आई रिमेंबर NIT का फीस तब कुछ 1000 रुपीज़ को 600 और 1000 रुपीज़ होता था। एंड IIT का तब एक्चुअली बिकॉज आई थिंक वो ब्रेन ड्रेन के चक्कर में उन्होंने एक्चुअली तब बढ़ाया था। इट वाज एक्चुअली 15,000 16,000 रुपीज़। तब बहुत मैं बोला कि पापा यार इतना फीस है, मैं नहीं जाऊँगा, मैं NIT में कर लेता हूँ। द रियल वे बाय विच ए इंजीनियर कैन मेक इम्पैक्ट इन द वर्ल्ड इज बाय डूइंग ए बिजनेस। सेकेंड, meditation also helps me because it's a yoga camp. Surbhi was also a member of ISS and so I met her in Ranchi.
ये मुझे किसी और स्टार्टअप फाउंडर ने बताया था कि उसके घर से प्रेशर सबसे ज़्यादा तब था कि भाई नौकरी छोड़ रहे हो, कुछ भी कर लो, पहले शादी कर लो, नहीं तो लड़की नहीं मिलेगी बिना नौकरी के।
तो सुबह को तो जब पता चला कि मेरा माई बैकग्राउंड इज दिस, फाइनेंशियली वी आर लाइक दिस, तो वो बोली कि मेरे पेरेंट्स तो नहीं मानेंगे, ये शादी तो बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकती।
Hi, I'm Surbhi Sarna. Welcome to Mind Over Minerals, a podcast brought to you by Innocule, where we deep dive into stories, science, and the many shifts that are happening in the Indian startup space that are shaping many lives and transforming many minds. And this is the very first video podcast where we deep dive into the mind of our founder, Gyan Ranjan, and he is being hosted by Mr. Prashant Biswal, who has been associated with Startup Orissa since a long time and who has been instrumental in bringing a lot of innovation and growth in the startup space in Orissa. So this is Mind Over Minerals. Let's deep dive and find out what our founder Gyan has to say.
Namaskar, welcome to the podcast with one of the most dynamic startup entrepreneurs of Orissa. Somebody who left behind a glorious career, an academic background with IIT, and came back to Orissa to start something in an unknown territory, create his own path and take people along. I have been fortunate to know him for a long time, and today I'm really glad that we're having this conversation with Gyan Ranjan, the founder of Innocule. So Gyan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I know you personally, but your story needs to be told. As an entrepreneur, you are now creating something which nobody had tried in this geography, at least. So I would like to understand from you. Tell us the story, where it all started from. Your background, your journey, and the path to today.
Okay, so where to start? I was born and brought up in Rourkela. So Rourkela is western part of Orissa.
Correct.
So that's a steel city. So I studied, my whole schooling was there, and my father used to work in state government in sub collector office. I went to a school nearby Udit Nagar Government High School, where it was a Oriya medium school. वहाँ पर पढ़ाई हुई, and then I went to government college Rourkela. तो वहाँ पर शुरू से ही actually I was not a from starting class 1 to class 6 तक तो I was just average student. जाके बदमाशी करता था, हमेशा क्लास से बाहर रहता था, हमेशा लेट जाता था actually, but my classes used to start at 6 o'clock. तो 2 सेशंस होते थे, मैं 6 o'clock में होता था, सुबह उठ नहीं पाता था, हमेशा वो मुश्किल होती थी. बट ऑल एट ए सडन आई थिंक 6th में मेरा कुछ ऐसा हुआ कि आई स्टार्टेड लाइकिंग मैथ्स एंड साइंस. अच्छा, आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड, बट आई रिमेंबर वेगली मेरा एक दोस्त था जो मेरे पड़ोसी था, तो उसके फादर ने उनका कुछ ट्यूशन टीचर लेके आया, वो वाज गुड, एंड मुझे बोला गया यार तू पुराना जो टीचर है ना उसी के साथ ही पढ़ना, एंड माय ट्यूशन टीचर वाज नॉट गुड, आई वाज नॉट एंजॉयिंग. देन समथिंग स्ट्रक इन मी दैट आई थॉट कि एनीवे, एंड ही वाज वेरी गुड, ही वाज एक्चुअली आई थिंक क्लास थर्ड ऐसे कुछ होता था, एंड तब रोल नंबर के वाइज मेरा रोल नंबर 26 27 कभी 45 ऐसे होता था. ऐसा क्या है? देन आई स्टार्टेड, देन मतलब कि मैं पढ़ता हूँ, देन समथिंग within stirred in me, and then what I started is I started reading. पहले मैं क्या करता था कि I was not understanding what I should read. जो ट्यूशन टीचर पढ़ाते थे मैं वही पढ़ता था. अभी क्या है कि I started reading on my own. When I started reading, I gradually understood the things and started liking it. And I think that was one of the turning point that happened in my study and academics. Suddenly from zero, I started becoming actually very good in this. I started understanding science. I started understanding and only science. History, because history, there was no logic. It was, the exams were also like, you know, how exams are history and geography. We did some rote learning kind of thing. So that I didn't enjoy. The only science I was very good. In fact, in 10th, I was almost, I got this full mark. I think 1 mark, 70 out of 75, I got 74.
Wow.
So like this. So that was early, and then class 12th, I was good. And at that time, IIT, I didn't hear. Only when I finished class 12th, then I heard that there is IIT, because actually in the exam, in class 12th, in CHSE, those who have gone through, if you see in some of the maths, they've written IIT, JEE, some number. Then I said IIT is a entrance examination where it should happen. But NIT, because Rourkela means REC people knew, so I wrote REC. So I gave, and then I think in the first attempt I got it in, not in first attempt, I dropped 1 year, then when I gave, I think I got into NIT.
NIT Rourkela.
NIT Rourkela. But then there was a sign die, because, you know, Aris was known for it, there was something and there was a sign die, so I got some time to prepare again. So once I prepared, then I got into IIT, so I left NIT and then joined IIT Bombay. And that was the journey from Rourkela to Bombay. And that time also actually based on our family background, if you see, it was a joint family. My father has actually 4 brothers, so all used to stay together. And तो ये होता था कि तब NIT मिल गया, मतलब बहुत ही हल्ला हुआ था उस, अरे NIT मिल गया यार, वहाँ पर ये क्यों ड्रॉप कर रहा है फिर, why NIT ड्रॉप करके फिर. बट मुझे लगा यार NIT ऐसे ही मिल गया था, तो आई थिंक IIT तो ट्राई करना ही चाहिए था,
मेहनत करें तो मिल ही जाएगा.
So that's how I had actually tried IIT, and फिर IIT भी जब मिला तो then I went. And I remember NIT का फीस तब कुछ 1000 रुपीज़ को, 600 और 1000 रुपीज़ होता था. एंड IIT का तब एक्चुअली, बिकॉज आई थिंक वो ब्रेन ड्रेन के चक्कर में उन्होंने एक्चुअली तब बढ़ाया था. इट वाज एक्चुअली 15,000 16,000 रुपीज़. तब बहुत मैं बोला कि पापा यार इतना फीस है, मैं नहीं जाऊँगा, मैं NIT में कर लेता हूँ. आई रिमेंबर दैट एक्चुअली. फिर बट IIT बीइंग IIT, तो पापा बोले नहीं तुम हम लोग.
So IIT जब हो गया, you must have been in news in your family circles, right? It was a big thing to happen those days.
Yeah.
Even today.
Yes. IIT में बताता हूँ क्या एक्चुअली IIT में भी ये हुआ था कि जनरली ऑल पेपर्स जो मेरा सही गया था, मैथ्स वाज एक्चुअली नॉट गुड, बिकॉज एक्चुअली आई वाज ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट इन मैथ, बट मैथ्स बहुत ही टफ आ गया था. तो आई थॉट इस बार नहीं होगा, मेरा रुड़की ठीक हो गया था, तो आई थॉट कि चलो एनीवे इस बार तो फिर से IIT नहीं होगा, NIT तो है ही, तो NIT ज्वाइन कर लूँगा, या NIT मैंने फिर से लिखा था, तो अगर वो हो जाता तो NIT में मैं कर लूँगा हूँ. तो द स्टोरी बिहाइंड इज, मुझे क्योंकि आई वाज सो श्योर दैट आई वोंट गेट IIT, तो IIT रिजल्ट आने के बाद भी मैंने फ़ोन नहीं किया था IIT खड़गपुर बहुत दिन तक. मैं क्रिकेट खेलता था, तो फिर मेरे 1-2 दोस्त हैं पकड़ के लेके गए थे, यार मैं बोला होगा तो नहीं नहीं IIT हुआ, उनको नहीं पता चला. तब एक्चुअली इंटरनेट हुआ नहीं करता था, तो एक्चुअली IIT खड़गपुर फ़ोन करके पता करना पड़ता था कि ये एप्लीकेशन नंबर है, बताइए. तो तब मैंने फ़ोन किया IIT खड़गपुर, तो उन्होंने बताया 695. मेरा बोला 695 ये तो कभी भी नहीं होगा. फिर घर पे आके बोला, घर पे बोले एक बार फिर से चेक कर ले, कभी भी 695 नहीं होगा. मैं बोला हाँ, एक दिन मुझे तो होने वाला नहीं था. 695 वाज अ वेरी गुड रैंक एट दैट, बिकॉज आई थिंक दैट टाइम सीट्स वेयर टोटल 3000 तक निकलता था, एंड इंजीनियरिंग स्ट्रीम यूज्ड टू बी फिनिश्ड बाय 1700-1800. तो 695
was
very good,
amazing.
very good. Yeah.
So what happened after that? I mean, after IIT, you went to IIT Bombay, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about, how were the days at IIT Bombay?
For IIT, IIT is a totally different thing for us, because I had studied in a government school, and then NIT also few months, and then IIT. IIT is totally different. And from day one, I was from somebody like a smaller city. They're always in inferiority complex because the kind of students used to have is actually all, first though, out of Rourkela first. We are not good in communication. So Hindi, tutti putti Hindi aati thi, and then English to bilkul bhi nahi, and then you are competing with all good students throughout India. So that competitive environment makes it what IIT is. And this gives the experience right from drama, arts to academics, then everything. So the wide experience is what IIT makes IIT actually. In fact, that's why I think if you see the lot of success stories, that's because of those exposure.
Right.
So that's how it was I think all my little success, whatever I have, and whatever I have in my, right from the job, in personal life, all credit goes to that one single step that I prepared for IIT. Wow. So I owe a lot from IIT actually.
Great. So you took up
chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering, right? So why chemical engineering?
First, yes, my rank was good. I could have got, in IIT Kharagpur, I could have got mechanical and others. Chemistry at that time, I used to like chemistry a lot. So I thought chemistry and chemical engineering are related, so I should do that. But actually, after I got admission, I realized that there is no similarity. Chemistry is very different from chemical engineering. Chemistry is actually
but you still did a great job. So after IIT, you had a lot of options, right? I mean, IITians are in demand all over the world. Sorry. So IITians are in demand all over the world, right? So, but you took up a job with the PSU, Indian Oil, right? If I'm not wrong. So, how did that happen?
Actually, in IIT I was not at the best, but I was in top 10. So, good academically I was
and you said top 10 is bad.
Actually there 9 plus 9
plus in top 10.
So 9 plus actually is in IIT they say 9 plus is good, otherwise it's okay. So my CGPA was around 8.1 or 8.15, something like that. So I was in top 10. So in branch top 10, not in institute, by the way. So branch is not a great thing. So, but what happened is, in that also I could have got a good scholarship for PhD, and that was the trend from IIT Bombay that people used to go to for PhD to US by writing GRE. I also wrote GRE at that time. So fourth, and the whole application process starts at the end of the third year. So after third year you write GRE, and then the whole application process starts along with your fourth year BTech project.
Right.
So, and fourth year BTech project में क्या होता है कि you are bit relaxed because आप project करते हो, ये सब करते हो, course का जो वो होता था load होता था, that was less. So at that time SJM SOM, there is a school, Sailesh J Mehta School of Management opened up inside IIT Bombay's campus.
Okay.
And we were allowed to take on one elective, and that's good thing about the IITs, they allow so flexibility. So I took an elective in Sailesh J Mehta School of Management about management.
Okay.
So being Bombay, so they used to call all good, there are people from industry leaders, from marketing, sales, from technical production. Then hearing them out, I realized that so the real way by which an engineer can make impact in the world is by doing a business. Right. So before that, I was thinking I will be a good scientist and I can develop something by which.
This was which year?
2003.
2003. So at 2003, in 2003, you took the first master class in entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And at that time, IIT Bombay 2003 also there was eCell. So I think IIT Delhi had, and no other IITs had actually that active entrepreneurship cell. So, I was more or less decided for PhD, so I didn't go for eCell activities. But this course, so that opened my eyes that actually the real way to do make impact in the world is by business. So, and by the end of that course, I realized ki, I am dropping PhD, and I at that time actually campus was not good. I think there was some slowdown, so I opted for sitting in the campus. And at that time, this Indian Oil was also a group company. So, so I joined company, and I also, the hidden agenda behind joining IOC was also because it is relaxed, so I can work on my business.
Oh, that's so the seed was planted right there in the campus.
Yes.
That's really amazing, Gyan. That story that I wanted to know from you is coming out. So but you did your PhD, right?
No, I haven't done PhD.
Oh, you didn't do.
I did. I didn't. In fact, after BTech, I never studied. Though, in fact, when I formed Innocule, so the kind of research I did, actually, there is more than a PhD.
Absolutely, it's more than a couple of PhDs.
So, but yes, I read a lot of papers, lot of patents, lot of experiments. In fact, that can easily give me a PhD. But yes, formally, I haven't done PhD.
So the idea of having your own enterprise, it was not called a startup back those days, was right there from your campus. Now, when you went to Indian Oil, how did that shape up? That thought process shape up? How long did you work with Indian Oil?
I worked for around 5 years.
5 years. So वो जो 5 साल का थोड़ा briefly बताइए कि how did that go, and how did you actually work on your idea of a startup then?
So I joined in first in the marketing division, and then they realized this is a chemical engineer should be there in the refinery. So after 6 months, I got transferred to the refinery. I think in retrospect, like Steve Jobs says, we can connect dots only in hindsight. So I think that's a good experience, because right now what we are doing, though it is not directly related, but at how a continuous plant runs. And I was running that plant. I was running a diesel desulfurization plant. So it is a continuous plant.
कहाँ पे posting था?
Panipat. I was there in Panipat refinery. So, so that actually helped me to understand how a continuous plant runs and what are the parameters a operator should look at to make the running smooth. And so that experience helped me what we are doing now. So I was actually there for around 7 years. In between, जब भी छुट्टी मिलता था, मैं घर आता था, बहुत लोगों से मिलता था to discuss about what are the opportunities here, what we can do. And I didn't have capital, so I always wanted something. I had to arrange somebody who can put money, and I will also should have a business idea where there is a margin so that I can return back. So all these things I used to do at that time whenever I used to come, and I used to take lot of leaves because the PSU so we had a lot of leaves. So हर बार कुछ 3 महीने में 10 दिन छुट्टी. So that helped me in that way to work on my idea.
So I think your first job also has a role to play in setting what you are today, right? So then after 5 years you decided to quit, right? How was that? I mean, how was that perceived by people around you, family? Because they had sent you to IIT thinking you probably go to the America, make it big in life. But then here you come and say, okay, 5 साल बहुत हो गया, अब निकलना है. मेरे दिमाग में तो कुछ और था.
Yes.
So how people reacted to it?
It was a difficult choice personally also, because जब पैसे आते हैं तब तो मतलब खर्चा कर देते हैं. ठीक है, ये सीड तो था कि हमें बिजनेस करना है. But actually family was also at that time family, एक तो है रेपुटेशन, like you mentioned, या उनको बोलने के लिए होता था कि मेरा बेटा ना IIT के बाद इंडियन ऑयल में जॉब करता है. इंडियन ऑयल तब बहुत बड़ी जॉब होता था कि इंडियन ऑयल PSU. सो तो मुझे वो छोड़ना था. एंड फर्स्ट तो मुझे खुद को कन्विंस करना था कि मुझे छोड़ना है, और तब तक मुझे क्लियर नहीं हुआ था कि क्या करना है. एक तो होता है कि आइडिया क्लियर है, आपने छोड़ दिया, सब कुछ अरेंज कर लिया. बट वो भी क्लियर नहीं था. सो बिकॉज एक्चुअली व्हाट आई रियलाइज्ड इज कि ऐसे 3 महीने 4 महीने जाके कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, बिकॉज बाय द टाइम वी अरेंज समथिंग इट नीड्स लॉट ऑफ ग्राउंड वर्क. एट दोज डेज एक्चुअली बहुत डिफिकल्ट था क्योंकि इतना सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन वैसा नहीं होता था, एंड दैट कल्चर इज ऑल्सो नॉट देयर कि आप जाके तुरंत कंपनी स्टार्ट कर लो. सो देयर वॉज अ ब्रेक, सो कुछ फ्रूटफुल हो नहीं रहा था. So first I had to convince myself कि I really want to do this and that is the right time. Somehow I gathered that strength and मैं बोला कि यार मैं नहीं करूँगा तो कौन करेगा. See, I have job experience, I have IIT tag, I am good in studies. लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लूँगा. मतलब ठीक है, ये जॉब चली जाएगी बट और तो कुछ कर ही लूँगा. So let's take the plunge. So that is first. Then when I told this to my parents, so parents were not happy, but somehow my parents, because of their background, because they are not very educated, so and I have proved in the past, NIT छोड़ा, IIT किया, IIT में भी अच्छा किया, जॉब भी ले लिया, so they had that conviction बच्चा कुछ कर ही लेगा पहले. लेकिन मुझे 2-3 काउंसलिंग तो अरेंज किया था, दोस्तों को लेके बुला के लाते थे, इसको समझा दे यार क्या कर रहा है ये, इसको समझाओ थोड़ा. फिर इनफैक्ट 1-2 बिजनेसमैन थे, उनसे भी मिलवाया तो पता करने के लिए देखो ये एक्चुअली बिजनेस कितना डिफिकल्ट होता है, SMEs जो होते हैं. फिर वो स्टोरी सुनाता था, बिकॉज ही वॉज इन सब कलेक्टर ऑफिस कोर्ट में थे, तो बीच में नोटिस दिखाते थे, देखो ये ना चलान आया है, उसका FIR आया है. सो मैं बोला ठीक है, वो सब होता है.
He tried his best to persuade it out of this path. But कहीं ना कहीं वो उनके मन में भी एक कन्विक्शन था कि कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेगा, राइट? तो ये कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेगा made you do what you are doing today, right?
Because I think मैं कहीं पे किसने बोला था, जब कंपनी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एक इंसान नहीं करता है, पूरा फैमिली करता है.
Absolutely.
So it is actually अगर सबको ऑन बोर्ड नहीं लेते हैं तो इट्स बिकम वेरी डिफिकल्ट. And that time it was difficult because I didn't have any idea, concrete idea. So अब तो नेक्स्ट जर्नी, और अभी उसके बाद तो मैं आ तो गया, फिर मुझे बिजनेस सीखना था. So I came and joined one of a fabrication shop in Rourkela.
अच्छा.
Because I wanted to learn business. Because business होता कैसा है. So because I didn't have background, right? और सब किसी को भी बोलते थे तो बोलता है बिजनेस बहुत डिफिकल्ट है यार, मतलब टैक्स भी दो, लोगों को भी वो करो.
Hold on a second. I mean, you're telling me you left Indian Oil without really having a concrete plan, and then you joined a fabrication shop, basically a welding shop.
Welding shop, yes.
In Rourkela, to learn business.
Learn business, yeah. And he used to give me 12.
Tell me more.
He gave me 12,000 rupees at that time.
Okay.
In fact, I remember he, was CA. There was a known CA. So the connect between the fabrication shop and me was a known CA. So he when I told him that I want to do this, because I met the CA because I wanted to explore what business can be done in Rourkela. And Rourkela, because I belong to that place, घर पे रह के छोटा मोटा कुछ start कर सकते हैं. That can be the seeding point. And of course तब मेरा ये dream नहीं था कि मैं बहुत कुछ बड़ा करूँगा. So when I joined that, he gave me a 10,000 rupees, and after 2 months he increased 2,000 rupees to 12,000 rupees. मैंने बोला तुम free में भी दोगे तब भी कर लूँगा, because aim was not that. So I learned. I think I worked there for around 1 year.
1 year.
And then while working, I got in touch with 2 of my batchmates who also started a cement chemical company, Unisol. So they said, why don't you come and join us as a Eastern India head? And then because it's a small trading company where we used to import some chemical from South Africa and was trying to do a business market, trying to develop a market here in India for cement industries, and that concept was new. So I said चलो ये कर लेते हैं. But उससे पहले जो ये मेरा जो experience था, though that 1 year was actually in fact very good experience, I'll tell you.
So tell me, what did you learn from this welding shop or fabrication shop? No, what was the key takeaway from those 1 year at 10,000 and then 12,000 salary?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So what happened is, IIT is all about fancy, right? We talk a lot of things which is up in the air, in a sense, business, simulations, codes. But here it's a fabrication shop where there is no, it's like a shop, right? It's like shop, but there are few people who are doing some structures, they don't have any, then there are any sophisticated machines. It's a fabrication shop, people are there, and they have to do these compliances in the point by ESI, PF, then how billing is done. So all these, how to manage, a single man was managing this. How he was managing this and how he was getting orders. So sales was a thing that I learned, because his main client was at that time OCL. So I went with him to see how he is acquiring order. So he used to wait for, I think, 4-5 hours just to get an appointment with a procurement manager. He'll go pitch, though he was a very good relation with the lower person. So you know how to maintain relationship in a traditional company right from the bottom and to the top, so that actually you get the order. So that nuances I know.
So the customer relationship, the compliances, the business management,
yes,
the basics of business management.
Of business. How to start,
So,
yes.
So the fabrication shop owner was your first employer and guru in that sense, post Indian Oil. So and then you did something in Hyderabad that you're talking about, right? Unisol. So how long Unisol did last?
Unisol was around it was around 6-7 years. 7 years.
Okay, and it was in the same space of.
It was cement. It was in cement chemicals.
Okay, and then started Innocule, right?
So there is a story behind it.
So I want to know that, So my what I want to know from you is, I'll take you a step back. Now, it was in your mind that you want to start something, and you gave up an illustrious career, worked in a welding shop, then you join your friends, do some business. So you are preparing yourself for that big league, right? A lot of sacrifices must have happened in between. Personal sacrifices, financial sacrifices, emotional sacrifices. Before you started Innocule, what are those struggling times? If you have some memories of those days.
I think I didn't feel that way until Unisol was successful, because I was prepared for it, and I was not married at that time. So, and somehow my parents were knowing that this is how it's going to be for some years. So that way, and I was enjoying this, because actually, yes, there was a pressure, peer pressure, and kind of pressure on self that we have to do something quickly. But I didn't feel, because I think 2-3 years was okay. But when I, there was some revenue. In fact, when I joined Unisol, there was some revenue. And I was, because they started early and I joined late, so I had only 19% stake there. And I was looking after the east and south markets based in Hyderabad. So once that was successful, and during Unisol I got married, and from leaving Unisol and starting Innocule, and Innocule 2-3 years, that was actually bit of more struggle, because before that I was a bachelor staying at home. I was enjoying, because I was learning this. So, but that was a bit of struggle, bit sacrifices. I won't say sacrifices, because I was doing my thing what I wanted, and the kind of upbringing that I have been very modest in my living. I'm very simple, so I don't have any lot of needs. My needs are minimum.
From but that despite that, you are telling me, ठीक है, struggle बाद में शुरू हुआ, वो तो और भी difficult है. तो शादी के बाद struggle शुरू होना और भी difficult है. So tell me a little more about your marriage. Where did you meet your wife? And
so it's connected. Most of the things are connected. The last question of how you are managing. See, I follow yoga, meditation. So I'm a follower of Paramahansa Yoganand, Yogoda Satsang Society of India. Achha. So I do meditation every day. So that that helps me to stay grounded, you know.
Interesting.
Entrepreneurship
and meditation.
But so I have been doing this since IIT days. In
Wow.
IIT, this is also another thing. I think one of the IIT taught me, because I got it meditation, etc. I got to learn from my roommate.
Oh,
so IIT has this contribution also. So what happened is. Meditation has a role that it prepared me mentally to live with very simple living. Second, meditation also helps me because it's a yoga camp. Surbhi was also a member of ISS, and so I met her in Ranchi.
Okay, during one of those meditation camps, right?
Meditation camps, yes.
Wow, interesting story.
So, and she's from Ambala. I was working in Panipat. At that time, we didn't meet. We met it, we met around in 2010 or 9 or 10, around in Ranchi.
So how did the matchmaking happen? I mean, you're from Odisha, Rourkela, she's from Ambala, Punjab. So,
so mainly the connection was because it was she was also interested to have somebody as a life partner who is spiritual, and I also wanted the same way. So that was the main driving, uniting force. But the problem was I was not working at that time.
ये मुझे किसी और स्टार्टअप फाउंडर ने बताया था कि उसके घर से प्रेशर सबसे ज़्यादा तब था कि भाई नौकरी छोड़ रहे हो, कुछ भी कर लो, पहले शादी कर लो, नहीं तो लड़की नहीं मिलेगी बिना नौकरी के. So did you have a similar situation at back home?
No, in that actually our story was a bit different in a sense. What happened is Unisol I was working. Unisol was also struggling, but there was some earning. So when we met and we liked each other, then we told Surbhi's parents first, because I knew that my parents I'll be able to convince. They will do something. ओरिया लड़की नहीं है ये, मतलब वो that I'll manage, because I'll tell कि नहीं तो मैं शादी नहीं कर पाऊंगा, मुझे तो कोई meditation वाली चाहिए. So that I knew that I'll be able to convince. So when I told Surbhi's parents, so they didn't expect, because so they are coming from middle class family and we were in a lower middle class family. तो जब सुरभि को पता चला, एक्चुअली हम जब बात कर रहे थे तब इसको पता नहीं था मेरा बैकग्राउंड क्या है. तो सुरभि को तो जब पता चला कि मेरा माई बैकग्राउंड इज दिस, फाइनेंशियली वी आर लाइक दिस, तो वो बोली कि मेरे पेरेंट्स तो नहीं मानेंगे, ये शादी तो बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकती. मैंने बोला कोशिश तो करते हैं. आई रिमेंबर द डे आई टोल्ड हर दिस, शी क्राइड, शी सेड कि इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, यू डोंट नो माई पेरेंट्स, so they won't agree for this. So I was very sad that day. So but anyway, फिर हम लोग बोले कोशिश करते हैं. And that time she went to Germany, and बीच में जर्मनी से she wrote a mail, क्योंकि आमने सामने तो शायद नहीं लिख सकती थी, अपने पेरेंट्स को बोल भी नहीं सकती थी. तो वहाँ से आने से पहले उसने लिखा कि ज्ञान एक है, वो इसमें मतलब वी वांट टू मैरी एंड आप एक बार मिल लीजिए. तो तब उसने एक चीज़ ये लिखा था कि वो IIT से है. So IIT कार्ड वहाँ पर. So then my father-in-law called me to Ambala. I met him, and what he realized, this guy is simple, and though he's his personality-wise hatta katta 6+, and stout body. So but inside he has a child, and he always wanted his daughter should get married to somebody from good academic background. तो IIT था, तो बोले कि चलो IIT का है, अभी कुछ थोड़ा
कुछ कर लेगा,
कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेगा. इनफैक्ट उन्होंने सुरभि को एक चीज़ भी बताया था कि अच्छा तूने तो ये डिसाइड कर ही लिया है, अगर कुछ होता है और बिजनेस नहीं चलता है तो झोपड़पट्टी में रह जाएगी ना. तो मैंने बोला कि ठीक है.
It's interesting part of your life, right? I mean, I think till then you didn't have many challenges. You were free flowing. You knew what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And this came as a relationship that You didn't know whether it's going to work. Then suddenly IIT ने बचा लिया.
IIT ने बचा लिया. Yes. Marriage was, I think, that was one of the major problem that was going to come, but I think then IIT में हो गया. So IIT के वजह से ये हो गया. And in fact, they were so kind, they were so convinced. Generally, किसी की शादी होती है तो लड़की वाले आते हैं घर देखने के लिए. They didn't even come to visit our place. बोले कि लड़के को देख लिया ना, हो गया.
ग्रेट. सो आपके पेरेंट्स का क्या रिएक्शन था?
बट मेरे पेरेंट्स सब उनको देखना था लड़के का घर क्या. तो दे वेंट टू सी. फिर उनको देखा, हाँ घर तो अच्छा है, घर बड़ा भी है, गुड. तो फिर उनके साइड से ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं था. उनके साइड से ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं.
एंड यू गॉट मैरिड व्हिच ईयर?
वी गॉट मैरिड इन 2011. 11.
Gyan, you left a lot of things behind, before you started Innocule. मुझे बताइए कि कौन सा ऐसा चीज़ था, कोई जो रिलेशनशिप आपने बनाया, जो आपने जो काम किया, बहुत सारे चीज़ों को आपने पीछे छोड़ा. तो सबसे डिफ़िकल्ट क्या छोड़ना था, और क्या आपने किसी से कंसल्ट किया कि कोई आपको एडवाइस कर रहे थे तब?
ब्रॉडली बहुत सारे डिफ़िकल्ट डिसीजंस मैंने लिए हैं अभी लाइफ में. सबसे मेजर तो एंड सबसे ज़्यादा डिफ़िकल्ट तो डिसीजन तो ये था कि मुझे यूनिसोल छोड़ के इनोक्यूल स्टार्ट करना था.
अच्छा.
दैट वाज डिफ़िकल्ट बिकॉज आई वाज मैरिड. जैसे मैं अभी बता रहा था, आई वाज मैरिड and it was going okay. If it was not going great, but even it was okay. We had some earning, and in that we are able to maintain my living. So now leaving that and starting everything from the scratch was a big decision. So ये जब हुआ, of course मैंने सुरभि से ही डिसीजन लिया था. उसी का ही हेल्प से ही I think that consulting her only helped me to start this. I'll tell you this story. It was actually अकेले तो कभी कर नहीं सकता था मैं. तो आई रिमेंबर यूनिसोल में तो थोड़ा कुछ बिकॉज वी आर 3, थोड़ा डिफ़िकल्टी बीच में हमारा कुछ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो रहा था. सम एंड द वे कंपनी वाज बीइंग लेड, दैट वाज नॉट प्रॉपर. I was not seeing that we can really grow with that kind of leadership. So there was something going on and which was bothering me. So I remember, I think that was in Bhubaneswar we came and we were actually went to a movie because the whole day I was very stressed कि ये नहीं हो रहा है. And Survi was seeing all this कि कैसे चल रहा है, मतलब how I am feeling. So she took me to a movie. यार मूवी देखते हैं. मूवी देखा हम लोग. फिर वैसे ही आने के बाद भी मैं वैसे ही था. फिर हुआ क्या हो रहा है. फिर मैंने बोला कि ये चीज़ें हो रहा है. देन ही सेड कि कोई बात नहीं, अगर क्या होगा ज़्यादा छोड़ दो यार, हम लोग ये इनोक्यूल स्टार्ट करते हैं यहाँ पर, आराम से खुद ही अपना स्टार्ट करो. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, रास्ते पे आ जाएंगे, हम देखेंगे क्या होता है. एंड आई थिंक दैट जज्बा, मैं आई एम ऑलवेज डिफिकल्ट. मुझे कोई ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन लेने में थोड़ा मुश्किल होती है बिकॉज एक्चुअली बहुत सारे बैलेंस करके, एज ए नेचर आई एम परफेक्शनिस्ट. मुझे परफेक्ट डिसीजन चाहिए होता, सारा बैलेंस करके. कभी लाइफ में कभी होता नहीं है. एंड शी इज़ अ क्विक डिसीजन मेकर. तो बोल दैट एश्योरेंस कि भाई जो होगा देखा जाएगा, दैट हेल्प मी. तो उसी दिन ही तभी मैंने फ़ोन किया उनको, मैं छोड़ रहा हूँ. एंड देन आई थिंक दैट नाइट हम लोग सारा सेटल किए. फिर मैं एंड आई लेफ्ट एवरीथिंग जो था, सब कुछ छोड़ा एंड राइट फ्रॉम द जीरो यहाँ से स्टार्ट किया इनोक्यूल. सो दैट वाज अ बिग डिसीजन. घर पे ही सब बताया नहीं था. मैं अपने घर पे नहीं बताया था. आई थिंक सुरभि को खाली पता था. बीच में कुछ फाइनेंशियल इशू हुआ, तब मैंने इन लॉज को बताया था. इन लॉज ने थोड़ा पैसे लिए थे. एंड एंड इन बिटवीन और भी कुछ इशू हुआ, तो मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स को बोल के अपना घर लोन अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर्टी कुछ लिया था. So I think those things we have done. But to answer your question, वो ये कि सुरभि helped me and she showed me कि without her strength I wouldn't have been able to take this and started Innocule.
That's amazing. Actually, बहुत कम ऐसे होता है एग्जाम्पल जहाँ पे वाइफ आपको बिजनेस करने के लिए एनकरेज करती है. एंड यहाँ पे तो शी प्लेड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल in shaping Innocule, starting Innocule and then shaping it up.
Yes.
बट आपने एक और चीज़ बोला इसमें कि आपने प्रॉपर्टी के अगेंस्ट लोन लिया, मतलब घर गिरवी रख के आपने लोन लिया बिजनेस शुरू करने के लिए.
तो Innocule
एक्चुअली बिग डिसीजन.
या एक्चुअली पैसे तो ख़त्म हो गए थे 3 साल, बिकॉज 2014 में हम लोग स्टार्ट किए और फर्स्ट प्रोडक्ट केम इन 2017. सो इन बिटवीन वी गॉट सम सीड फंड फ्रॉम स्टार्टअप ओडिशा, नॉट स्टार्टअप ओडिशा, इट वाज DST through Kit TBI incubator. We got it, but it was not enough. For 3 years there was collaborations, then there are people and there are field trials. It was expensive. So बीच में ऐसा हो गया था कि our account was about to be zero. 1 महीने का रेंट कैसे देंगे, हम सोच रहे थे कि चलो अभी पापा को बोलना पड़ेगा. एंड मिराकुलसली उनको ना somehow ये भी एक बढ़िया स्टोरी है. तो somehow मेरे मदर इन लॉ हैं, उनको ये वो रात को सो रही थी, उनको लगा कि ये ज्ञान को ना कुछ पैसे चाहिए हो सकता है. तो एंड उनको कुछ एक्स्ट्रा पैसा मिलने वाला था. तो नेक्स्ट दिन मेरे फादर इन लॉ बोलते हैं कि यार मेरे पास कुछ पैसे पड़ा हुआ है एंड आई एम सीइंग आई वांट टू हेल्प यू बिकॉज यू आर डूइंग, यू हैव लेफ्ट योर जॉब, आई वांट टू हेल्प यू आउट. तो उन्होंने हमें 2 लाख रुपए दिया था तब. तो अब अकाउंट बिल्कुल जीरो होने वाला था.
It's like angels. As you call in the startup world, angels come like this, right? I'm getting goosebumps. Somebody who left so much behind, to start something. in-laws से हेल्प लेना, घर गिरवी रखने तक आप गए to take, that shows the amount of trust you guys had on yourselves to put your effort and deliver, right? And you probably had no option other than delivering.
I won't like to be a hero here. Basically, see, if you see the background, our background, Surbhi is also well educated. I know she's a PhD dropout. She went to Germany for PhD and then came here. And I considering my background, हमें पता था कि अरे ये लेते हैं ना, आराम से कहीं ना कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे. अगर मान लो कुछ चलता नहीं है तो जॉब करके कुछ करके लेंगे. तो और मेरे डिसीजन डिफ़िकल्ट इसलिए था क्योंकि हमारे पास, बिकॉज माई फादर का बैकग्राउंड देखेंगे तो ही हैज़ ओनली 1 हाउस एंड उसको मतलब इट इज़ हिज हाउस. तो मुझे उसको गिरवी रखना था एंड वी टुक अराउंड 30 lakhs फॉर a loan to fund our working capital, because at that time we got a small order for Tata Steel field. तो उसको करने के लिए 30 lakhs काम मिला. अभी तो भी चल रहा है वो, क्योंकि वो हटाया नहीं फिर उसके बाद. क्योंकि एंड तब वो भी समझ नहीं था कि अकाउंट्स में दिस कंपनीज लोन इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम माइन लोन. तो मैंने वहाँ से लेके इसमें डाल दिया. अभी अकाउंटिंग में कुछ नहीं है कि हाउ टू डू दिस, बट एनीवे दैट इज द थिंग. तो मैंने तब लिया था. तो द डिसीजन वाज नॉट कि हम लोग कर पाएंगे या नहीं कर पाएंगे. The decision was whether to bring family into this risk. So from that point, because for them it was a big asset. मैं तो कुछ ना कुछ करके कर लूँगा. तो to convince them, and उन्होंने ऊँचू भी नहीं बोला था. ये हो गया यार, कर ले यार तू. So that's
I think I'm, as we are speaking, there's so much to learn from your story. ये जो spirit of कुछ ना कुछ कर लेंगे, you are thinking कि नौकरी छोड़ रहा हूँ, कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लूँगा. योर पेरेंट्स थिंकिंग चलो ठीक है नौकरी छोड़ दिया, बस कुछ ना कुछ कर लेगा. योर इन-लॉज थिंकिंग क्योंकि IIT से अभी नौकरी नहीं कर रहा है, कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेगा, राइट? एंड देन योर वाइफ बेटर आप सेइंग ओके छोड़ दो सब, कुछ ना कुछ कर लेंगे. दैट स्पिरिट इज द मोरल ऑफ योर स्टोरी, which is very rare, and that is needed in entrepreneurship. Any kind of entrepreneurship, small or big, that spirit of कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेंगे is necessary, is the key ingredient for starting and then of course success. So tell me, how did then Innocule happen and how that journey started?
So Innocule we started in 2014, जो मैंने बताया Unisol छोड़ के. 3 साल हमें लगे. So at that time, but just because I think from day one I was clear that because I was doing a cement chemical business, I know the trade, I shouldn't do the same business because my friends were already doing. So it has to be different, and it has to be manufacturing, and it has to be something which is innovative. It's not shouldn't be pure trading. And with the same, we thought ki what is the closest thing that can be done which is similar to cement industry, that is naturally mining and mineral. And since I am son of the soil and here it's a mining thing, so I thought we moved to Bhubaneswar. And Bhubaneswar, another reason is the CSIR lab, because that's good in mineral processing. So we did a collaboration and started working on
CSIR IIMT.
And that time I think this incubation concept was also new. KIT was having a incubation. So I spoke to the CEO there, and then got a space for incubation also. So that's how Innocule started in 2014. And first 3 years were difficult, but fortunately by KIT's help, we got a seed funding from DST, and it was around 30 lakhs. So that helped us to do that initial innovation, fund our research, and 2017 our first product was up in the market. And from there, actually, there is no looking back.
So 3 years it took
3
you
years,
to bring the first product into the market from. So yeah, I mean, it is understandable that you came from a business that was dealing with cements. Then you are from a state which has abundant amount of mining and mineral resources. But tell me, when we think of mining, we all see big players in it, right? Huge players, international, national players. How did you even think of getting into mining? A product in mining with such a small budget or without almost no resources, right?
Yeah.
So how did that thought process work?
I think that's out of pure ignorance and naivety. So, once we jumped, then we so we thought once we started, and what happened is because the opportunity unfolded, because I think everybody started thinking like that, and we came in somehow by good luck. We got hold of some new problem, which actually was, we didn't know that it is such a grave problem, and we could solve it. And once, that was by chance, that was purely luck, and I think that was there because of our previous efforts probably. Otherwise, coincidence, I don't think coincidence happen as such unless there is a previous history of it. So what happens is, because of this gap, so one of our tagline in Innocule is also, we solve problems left unsolved by industry giants. So there was some sweet spot, and that they thought ki this problem, anyway it's a problem, natural problem like flowability chemical, which actually we created it, and we created a new market. And now it has changed the way mineral processing happens in the country.
तो थोड़ा इसको simplify कर सकते हैं for people who are not from this industry. थोड़ा उसको layman language में बता सकते हैं क्या product है?
So monsoon में in any mineral industry, because of the rain, moisture, जो overhead, it becomes sticky. So
कीचड़ हो जाता है.
So it doesn't flow. ये jam होने लगता है.
अच्छा.
So by default, any mineral industry in monsoon, they, in their projection itself, they reduce their production by 30 to 40%. In fact, till now, there are mines which are not professional, smaller mines. They close down for 3 months.
Okay.
3 months पूरा mines बंद कर देते हैं, and फिर 3 महीने के बाद चलता है. And here now actually 3 महीने नहीं, 5 महीने तक actually चीजें चलती है. So we thought if we can. And people were thinking jamming is a mechanical problem, because jamming हो रहा है तो ठोक ठाक के water spray करके clear करके ठीक करना है. We were trying to solve it by chemical means, and we thought कि अगर chemical से हम solve कर पाएंगे तो ये हो जाएगा कि we don't have to stop the plant, and there is no capex as such. In the running plant, we'll just have spray chemical, and then it will start running and with optimum capacity. with that idea we started, and so 3 hours it clicked, and we didn't know at that time that it is still such a big. So with Tata Steel we tried first, and I remember that day when when our first trial failed, first formulation failed. The second trial we did it after 6 months. When we did this trial, the plant capacity was like, it was November. The rain has subsided, November or October. The plant capacity was going around 600. We started dosing the chemical. It went up to 800, and we stopped it. It again came down to 600. They were so convinced. So they never thought it will work like this. And the next day we got the order. So
wow. So you basically got support from a government lab, a private incubator, and a corporate, right?
Yeah. Corporate, no.
Tata Steel. In that way.
Okay. I mean, they tried because that is their problem also. But yes, government lab and seed funding, etc.
You got it, right? So now, in the last 10 years, you have now completed 10 years, 2014, now we have 2025. How has the journey been, and you got so many, accolades, awards, National Entrepreneurship Award, the National Startup Award. So how does it feel? I mean, from the day you had to keep your, home on, your father's home on, Girvi Rakhna pada Ghar, or as when you look back, how does it really feel?
It's very fulfilling. If you see, not only financially probably there is long way to go. We can create many impacts. And अभी जैसे वो होता है ना, हर बार एक्चुअली हमारा जो गोल है और आगे चला जाता है, बिकॉज एक्चुअली वी कीप अचीविंग गोल्स. But the satisfaction is that, like Peter Thiel says, entrepreneurs, they create something in seemingly perfect world. So without this chemical also, world was perfectly same, everything was same, but we created something by which we could create an impact, and that's how we created a new market. Now, because of our impact, now there are other competitors also, but because of that impact, now India produces almost similar production of the mineral which they produce in dry season. I think if you see the impact, it's actually very fulfilling. So financial also we are doing good. Company is growing. We have 100 plus people. We are taking up some very challenging projects, and we are impacting more lives. So I'm grateful for all this. I'm happy. So and still a lot more responsibility also. We have to do a lot of other things.
That brings me to the next question. Ki 60% of them are freshers, right? Coming fresh from college with very little or no exposure to the industry. वहाँ पे they must be making mistakes. So how do you react? I mean, माफ कर देते हो, या how do you look at the region, or you look at the response, or what it is?
We tell in Innocule that mistakes are acceptable. So the very moment, so what we see as a founder is, what is the intention behind the mistakes? If intentions are fine, then every mistake is acceptable. So in fact, in our onboarding, when I used to take onboarding, I tell this in my onboarding, mistakes are acceptable. So please do mistakes. So I won't question you on that. Idea is, if intentions are good, you can do the mistake, and we are not concerned about, and the pioneering work that we are doing, there is no benchmark. So people has to do mistakes to learn. I have done many mistakes, right from hiring, then not firing at the right time, not taking action. So there are many things that I have already done. So if my team don't get that opportunity, they won't also learn. So what I am today because of those mistakes, we allow people to do that.
That's
so we
an
never
interesting
do this.
perspective. That brings me to a very important question, and that is, you're not building just products, right? you're creating jobs and so many other impact you're creating. When did you actually realize that it's not just building product that is enough? You really have to impact and people's lives, create impact in people's lives.
Like we said, around 60% people are on our role who are, for them it's the first job. So we as a founder, Surbhi looks after HR and other strategies, learning and development also she has started leading. So we think it's our responsibility to give them the best kind of training and make them equipped for their future. So we as a founder, we have very conscious about it, because ultimately they are going to be our brand ambassadors. So we ensure some of them who are good performers, they go to IIMs for some management development program. Some of them, if we can help them to do a PhD, we have collaborated with IIT Bombay and IMT also. If those who want to do PhD, they can do PhD with a sponsored PhD. Then we also ensure that they get exposure to good hotels. We do our all town halls etc. in 5-star, so that when they get exposed to this, their mind opens up. And our clients are also B2B, bigger clients. Right. So when they talk, when they interact, that should be visible in their actions. So I think that's our responsibility. So we as a company, we think people are our strengths and we are consciously doing it.
No, that's a great thing. When you look back, the day you started and till today, has the definition of meaningful work changed for you, or is it the same as day one?
Of course, it has changed, because it's actually when I was a student, I was aiming for earning 15,000 a month, and when I started Innocule, I was very happy when we reached 70 lakhs and we got the first order. We said, अगर ऐसे ही चलता रहेगा, इतना margin होगा तो बढ़िया है. Then now we are, aiming for 1,000 crore in next by 2030. So and the potential is there. So I think every time the milestone keeps shifting once you achieve this.
Right.
So meaningful work now for me is how we can do more and better, touch, create more impactful work, both in terms of processing industries, and also I have few futuristic ideas where actually we are working like processing waste, then what we have already done, how to expand it to other countries so that we can make our solutions available to other countries also. So those are actually impacts that we want to make. Having said this, internally also we also want to make 100 crore patis within our company. Wow. So that is also one of our aims of ideals that we have as a founder. When we want to go to IPO, we want to create 100 crore pati at least. That's that's the aim right now is there for me. It will again, I think probably 5-10 years down the line, it will again change.
That's called changing lives. So Gyan, as a founder, and I've seen this all across, and I'm sure it must be true with you also. Founders are multitaskers, most of the times by compulsion, but sometimes it gets into your habit, right? कि मुझे ही सब कुछ करना है. So when did you? I mean, do you still multitask, or have you realized कि नहीं सब कुछ खुद नहीं करना है, कुछ delegate करना है?
Yeah, I realized this. I have realized this. In fact, now I realize this actually when we started, I was doing 20 man's job.
Wow.
And in fact, the realization, one of the challenges that we didn't do this is, as you were saying, it's a Bhubaneswar, because it's a company which mostly research was being done by me, and then we have a small team. So we had to steer the group for research and also other activities. So talent-wise, Surbhi was not into technical details. And initially in the formative days, what happens is most of the load is technical load. So from that point of view, there was a lot of multitasking happening.
Right.
But slowly we realized that to scale it up, it has to be delegated. We need more leaders who can actually do this for us, so that we as a founder will concentrate on strategy and how to scale it up to other countries and other products, and how to mitigate the risks of the business. So from that point of view, Delegation started, and last year we hired a business coach. After that, I realized that the kind of delegation that I am doing, that is not sufficient. So he told me to do extreme delegations. So right now we are into that mode where we are hiring a lot of people, and a lot of things are actually given, dedicated resources are there for each and every task. So that from multitasking company, we are slowly, gradually becoming a process-oriented company. So when we are in that transformation, this delegation will be more and more. So to answer that question, yes, delegation has started.
Great. So 10 years, a decade, done and dusted. What's your vision for the next decade? Where do you see Innocule in the next 10 years?
Now that VCs are on board, and I have promised them, actually, it's a deep tech company. So
right.
Our exit is always through an IPO, and it's a high volume game. If you see India right now, we're processing around, the capacity wise, we have around 200 million capacity. We will go to 300 by in next 5 years, and which is actually, if you see, less than 1/10 of India, whole world. So steel wise, mineral wise, other mineral wise, there are a lot of opportunities. I think Innocule has a role to play, and there is a lot of vacuum, because this is a space where most of the bigger companies hasn't been able to put their effort, because probably this is not something which is suited for their business. So there where our role we have identified, and we are doing it very well, and I think we'll be able to still sharpen our swords, and actually we can go still deep and cover more markets. So next decades will be very growth oriented, and we'll be able to scale new heights.
Full of excitement. Sir.
Full of excitement, yeah.
So it's really great to hear that vision. उड़ीसा से शुरू हुआ एक कंपनी IPO सोच रहा है, ये छोटी बात नहीं है. This is going to inspire a whole generation of at least ODI youngsters. हम लोग normally देखते हैं, there are very few role models in the entrepreneurship sector of Odisha. Despite so huge potential, as you said, the potential is limitless in mineral, at least that you are working in. So एक सेकंड के लिए उसको पीछे रखते हैं, बिजनेस को पीछे रखते हैं. एज ए पर्सन, इनोक्यूल नहीं होता तो और क्या होता?
Innocule नहीं होता तो I would have been a good, I would have been actually meditating somewhere. Actually,
yoga guru?
Not yoga guru. I'm a sadhak. So basically,
sadhak.
I personally do. I don't like to teach. That is one. Second, there are two areas I think I haven't been able to do a lot. Where I studied, the Udit Nagar government school, where I think if time allows and resources allow, I want to do something there. One is yoga, because the Yogoda Satsang Society where I do, because IIT Bombay, Yogoda Satsang Society, these two have given me a lot. So one is Yogoda Satsang Society, one is my school, and third is actually, let's say, IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay, if you can donate, we can create. Nandan Nilekani is one of IIT Bombay. So they have done, he has donated and created a lot of value within IIT. So I want to support that. So if not Innocule, then probably these three things I will love to do. I'll be meditating, I will volunteer in IIT Bombay, and I'll volunteer in Yogoda Satsang Society of India.
Okay, so that brings me to my final question. Okay, आपने बोला कि okay, मैं अगर Innocule नहीं करता, entrepreneur नहीं होता, तो मैं वो ये करता. आज के दिन में ऐसा क्या है, कुछ है दिल में जो आपको करना है beyond Innocule, कि ये चीज़ तो लाइफ में करना है?
एक गांव में एक्चुअली आई born and brought up in Rourkela, but my village is actually Jajpur. So I haven't been to there often. I stayed in my childhood days. जब summer vacation में मैं जाता था. So given a chance, I would like to be there and contribute something there. Actually, I haven't been able to do anything. वो कुछ किया ही नहीं है. So I think that is there somewhere in my heart कि कभी time मिलेगा ना वो करना चाहिए. I think that I'll do.
We spoke about delegation, right? You know, but ऐसे भी होता है कि कोई बिना डेलीगेशन के बिना बताए काम कर लेता है, इनिशिएटिव लेता है. हाउ डू यू फील? यू नो, कैसे रिएक्ट करते हो आप?
ये तो बहुत रेयर इसमें होता है बिकॉज एक्चुअली जैसे मैं बहुत फ्रेशर हैं, जब कोई करता है आई फील वेरी ग्रेटफुल बिकॉज एंड वो मुझे बहुत खुशी भी होती है. एंड दो बड़े बड़े दो एक्चुअली भी मुझे पता है. देयर इन ऑपरेशन वेयर देयर आर सब्सटेंशियल बैंडविड्थ मेरा जा रहा था, तो वन ऑफ आवर सीनियर पर्सन्स ही वॉलंटियर्ड, जबकि उसका एक्चुअली वो कोर है नहीं. सर मैं करता हूँ ना. एंड आई तो इतनी बार तो द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट आई डू इज आई पब्लिकली से कि दिस इज व्हाट ही हैज़ टेकन इट अप. दैट वाज नॉट मेंट फॉर हिम बट स्टिल ही डिड दिस. सो आई फील दैट ग्रेटफुलनेस दैट वी हैव सच एम्प्लॉइज. नाउ विद दिस सीनियर पीपल दे आर लाइक दिस. इनफैक्ट बीच में हम छुट्टी में जा रहे थे तो देन अनदर सीनियर पर्सन सेड कि अब 7 दिन क्यों, आप 10 दिन होके आज 10 दिन होके आइए, क्योंकि अब एक्चुअली हम लोग चलाएंगे ना कंपनी से बाहर जाइए आप. That's what they say.
That's really great. You know, that means the team spirit is building up. You know, and they are also appreciating the amount of hard work you have put in, and they want you to you know, relax a little bit and take up more responsibility.
And they also feel that, you know, if I'll be relaxed, then company will grow faster. Because somehow the senior people who have joined, so they know this. Because my bandwidth should go in building strategies and thinking future aspect of the company, and for that I need to be free. I shouldn't be in a day-to-day operation, and they actively try to take burdens out of me so that actually things will be more smoother and I can concentrate on bigger things.
That's, I think, is a very very positive sign. थोड़ा लाइट मोड में जाते हैं. नो, बहुत सारी चीज़ें आपने अपने लाइफ में देखा है. नो, इनोक्यूल अगर एक फिल्म होता, बॉलीवुड फिल्म होता, तो आप इसको कैसे, कौन से जेनर में देखते हैं? ड्रामा, हॉरर, थ्रिलर, स्काई-फाई, कॉमेडी?
फर्स्ट मतलब इनोक्यूल स्टार्टिंग तो रोमांस ही है.
अच्छा,
सुरभि
रोमांस मैंने छोड़ दिया.
सुरभि टेल्स मी Innocule is a love story, because बीच में हम लोग एक एक्सरसाइज कर रहे थे तो we are writing about things. So she says it's a love story because she never liked business. She came to business just because of me, and so she says for her it is a love story. I completely agree because I dragged her, and she's a totally different kind of person, but she's in the company because of this. The other aspect is, if you see the broad from last 10 years has been a drama.
Okay.
If you see in any drama, what happens, there will be a character who develops over the period. So here the founders, so they what has been our journey. In a sense, there is turmoil, there is hope, there is grief, there is fights and scarcity and whatnot, like, you know, there are challenges. So all these things becomes a drama. There are emotions also, because there are in the whole journey there are a few times where actually we got a lot of difficulty in terms of few people went, they took technology with them, and then you know we created a competitor. So that was a difficult thing. Then they poached people, so that has happened. Then there is actually that is a conflict also. Then founders' emotional journey, in a sense, in almost every day. Last year, this time, I was in such a mood that everybody was, sir ko kya ho gaya yaar, bahut tension mein hai sir. So that's how. So it's actually sometimes पैसे नहीं है कैसे, and अभी आज तक last 10 years से we haven't missed सैलरी डेट. 5 को हमारा सैलरी होता है, लास्ट 10 से 5 को ही सैलरी होता है. वी हैवंट डन दिस मूव दैट डे टिल नाउ. सो ऑल दिस स्ट्रगल्स जो है एक्चुअली दिस बी ड्रामा ओनली. सो वेयर कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट, इमोशनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, एवरीथिंग इज देयर.
Fantastic. I think, and I'm sure it's a good drama. So, and I'm sure every day is a drama, every day is a story, right? So, end of the day, when something is achieved, something is done, इतना मेहनत हुआ, इतना ड्रामाबाजी हुआ, but finally हो गया, तो कैसे फील होता है?
हाँ, एक्चुअली आई एज ए पर्सन, I was doing a psychological study, psychometric test हुआ था.
अच्छा.
So in that my profile comes as a perfectionist. So what happens, I don't get happy that easily. So अगर कुछ ठीक हो गया तो I feel more relieved, relief मिलता है rather than actually I get elated, भाई ये हो गया. Generally मेरा ये नहीं होता, अच्छा ठीक है, नहीं हुआ, it's fine, then let's move to the next step. So that's how generally I as a person, I don't enjoy, I don't celebrate much, but Surbhi on the other way actually she is a different guy. In a smaller things, अरे वो ना 1000 रुपए का भी ऑर्डर आया, she'll start dancing. अरे मैं यार 1000 रुपए का ऑर्डर में क्या होगा.
So you are like more composed, not sad in failure, not celebrating in success, right? I think that really shows how you're connected to the roots. Still, you're connected to the roots, starting from Rourkela, getting into meditation, and you are able to you are giving credit to all those institutions who have shaped you as a person, and now you as an entrepreneur. So that's amazing to see. A lot of people actually tend to forget their roots. Now you want to go back to your roots and give back something whenever you can. I think this is truly inspiring for whoever will be watching this podcast. Students, youngsters, entrepreneurs. The message that I take from your story is, doesn't matter where you're coming from, doesn't matter आप IIT में पढ़ रहे हो, आपने बहुत अच्छी नौकरी आपको मिला, but if you really want to do it, कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेंगे.
Yes,
right?
कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे.
So that कुछ ना कुछ कर ही लेंगे is the moral of the story, that line that I'm drawing from your story today, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this podcast will do that. Thank you Gyan so much, not just for the podcast telling your story, but also to be a role model for hundreds of thousands of youngsters who I believe would some of them would take that inspiration and take the plunge as entrepreneurs, knowing your challenges, your successes, your learnings would be really helpful and inspiring. So thank you so much. Wonderful to have you talking today in this podcast. I'm really glad that I got this opportunity to host you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you so much. It was lovely interacting with you. In fact, you brought out a lot of stories which probably others don't know, and it was lovely interacting with you. Thank you so much for interacting. Thank you.